We've already covered a simple keyword search. Let's look at some of the other basic search features of Splunk. First, let's look at the time-based restrictions. We'll open up the search app and put in an asterisk for the search. And we can leave this as 24 hours and then click the search button here. So our log generator hasn't been running for very long, so there's a lot of blank space here. Instead of 24 hours, we could say 15 minutes. Let's look at some of the other options. We can use relative selections, such as everything from today, week to date. We can look at the previous week or the previous year. We can also look at all time, which will show any records that it has. And you can see it automatically scales just to the data that it has. The time selector also has options here to be a little bit more precise. We can use some relative time windows. We can get specific about real time. So we could say a certain number of seconds, date range, or date and time. And in the Advanced tab, there is a special syntax that you can use for specifying the dates and times. And the documentation is linked here. We'll actually look into this a little bit more later on. We'll close that. Below the time picker, there is a drop down here that currently says Smart Mode. If we open that up, we have the choice between Fast Mode, Smart Mode, and Verbose Mode. This is how you select how much interpretation Splunk performs on your data as it's displaying it. If we choose Fast Mode, it will run a little bit more quickly, but if we look over at the fields on the left, it has a much shorter list of what it's actually interpreting from the data. If we select Verbose Mode, it will do as much as it can. So this area that says Interesting Fields has a lot of different fields that it's selected out. Let's put that back to Smart Mode, which is the default. Under the search bar, there is a drop down that says No Event Sampling. If we open that up, we can actually have it use a subset of the events. So if we only want 1 in 10, it will do a random sampling of about 1 in 10 of our total amount of events that match our search. So in this case, you see it says 361 for me. If I go back to no event sampling, you can see the number is actually 4,000. So it's not an exact 1/10 of the events. It actually uses a little bit of random sampling. And if I go to 1 in 10 again, you can see it's a different number, but it's usually pretty close to, say, 1/10 or whatever option you choose. This can be useful if you have a lot of data and you're just trying to get a high-level view of it without getting into specific events. Let's return that to no event sampling. And just to see how this might work, let's put in a search for 404 and click search. You see that takes a moment. If we use sampling, it should be a little bit quicker. And if we select fast mode and use sampling, we can get really quick results just to see what's going on.